Christy. Welcome to another video. In today's video, I have a what I eat in a day video. I haven't done one of these in a long time. I figured since the new Weight Watchers program just began, I would take you along and show you my day and show you my points compared to my calories and macros. So I've usually done that before, showed you the calories compared to points, but I don't think I've shown you macros before because macros is something that I just started tracking more so for my protein. I'm just trying to get a little bit higher protein. Getting higher protein is something my doctor and I discussed, and she just feels that because I'm over 50, I really need to try to work more on protein than anything else. So I'm going to share that with you. I get 23 points a day and then I have 28 weeklies. As far as my calories, I kind of shoot just around 1500. That's usually where I end up. Anywhere between like 13 and 1700, I have kind of a range. But like I said, I really try to focus more on my protein and then see where that ends up getting me. So as I go along, I'm going to give you the points and calories of everything. But at the end, I will go through and break down. I'll share with you the points that I ended up having and also the calories. And I'm also going to break down my macros, my protein, fat, and carbs as well, and share that with you. And honestly, because of the amount of 0-point foods I eat, I do end up usually hitting my nutritional values. So I know a lot of people say that Weight Watchers is really low calorie, but I don't think it has to be. I think it really completely depends on the foods that you eat throughout the day. I have found that if I'm not eating a lot of 0-point foods and I'm eating, you know, kind of like packaged things like a protein bar or different things like that, I will end up hitting my points very quickly without having a lot of calories. So it definitely makes a difference in the foods that you're eating for your Weight Watchers points to actually get to the calories that your body needs. So I'm at my coffee maker at 7:10 in the morning. When I get up in the morning, I have a bunch of water. I usually fill this and drink probably half of it in the morning. Whether I eat something first thing in the morning is completely dependent on how I feel. Years ago, I used to completely ignore morning hunger and just have my coffee, and then I wouldn't eat breakfast until 10 or 11. But now I've been trying to listen to my body, and there are some days where I am really hungry. And some days I will eat as early as 6:30 in the morning. Nothing heavy, just something to get something in my stomach. Like the other day, I had eggs and half a banana. So it just kind of depends on how I feel in the morning. This morning I wasn't really hungry, so I haven't eaten anything yet. I'm going to be having my breakfast here in just a minute. So I'm going to make my coffee. Usually when I'm home, I just use a big cup. This is the creamer that I use. It's the 0 sugar French vanilla coffee mate. For this kind, you can have like 4 tablespoons for 2 points. I usually weigh it out. I think I can have like 68 milliliters or something. So I'll weigh that out, have 2 points worth, and then I usually use a couple of Splenda packets in my coffee, and that's it. So my coffee usually counts as 2 points or about 60 calories. Something I want to mention in my What I Eat in a Day videos, and just kind of something I learned as I became certified as a nutrition coach, is please use these videos as just kind of a guide. My nutritional needs and your nutritional needs are completely different. Foods that I eat may react different for me than they do you, so don't ever follow completely the way somebody else eats. You really have to try to determine what's right with you. So work with your nutritionist, dietitian, or your physician to figure the best mix for you. So like I said, I'm just gonna kind of take you along for the day and share with you what I'm eating. And I'm also gonna do kind of a cook with me for dinner. I'm making a skinny taste recipe tonight that's so good. We've had this before. So if you like these type of videos, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new, I would love for you to be part of the family. I'm gonna make some eggs for breakfast. Usually I always have eggs and avocado toast when I'm home. And then when I meal prep during the week for work, I'll usually bring something, whatever I made. So I'm just gonna spray a pan with cooking spray. I'm gonna cook up 2 eggs. I'm also gonna have some cottage cheese. So I'm not gonna use this whole thing right now. I think I'll save half of it for like maybe mid-morning snack. I'm just gonna use half of it, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna put it in with my eggs or have it on the side. I'll kind of decide as I go. Gonna add just a little bit of salt and pepper. And you know what? I was gonna make fried eggs, but I'm gonna do scrambled. I changed my mind. And with scrambled eggs, I add just a little bit of water. I'm using the eggshell. So I have some carrots, I have some blueberries, I have a half an English muffin. It's the light multigrain. So 1 point for the English muffin, or 50 calories. The avocado, I talked about this in my recent meal prep video, and I showed how when you actually measure out the avocado, you get a lot more. So, I guess you can't see my scale here. I'll show it to you in just a moment. So that's 32 grams of avocado, and it's honestly almost a half of an avocado. So when you put in the Weight Watchers tracker and you put in a quarter of an avocado, comes out to 2 points. But you can actually have 36 grams for 1 point. So that's why I always weigh out my avocado. So now I'm just gonna kind of mash that down in there. And of course, it will not be complete without everything bagel seasoning. I just use, this kind is really salty, so I don't add too much to that. So I'm gonna use about half of the cottage cheese. I'm gonna eat this, and then I put some in there. So this ends up being a 3-point breakfast. 1 point for the cottage cheese, 1 point for the avocado, 1 point for the muffin, 0 for the eggs, 0 for the blueberries, 0 for the carrots. And then for calories, it ends up being 363 calories for the entire plate. It's 140 for the eggs. The blueberries, I have 35 grams of blueberries there for 20 calories, 85 grams of carrots, or 3 ounces, for 35 calories. It is 58 calories for the 35 grams of avocado, 50 calories for the muffin, and 60 calories for the cottage cheese. And something I also like to do, that I'm not even going to add any points or calories for, is just kind of drizzle it with a little bit of salsa. For this salsa, it's 15 calories for 2 tablespoons, or 0 points. But as you can see, I don't even have a tablespoon on there. Sky, what you doing? Hi, baby. You want a carrot? Do you want a carrot? She's been a good girl since she ate all my bread the other day. Want a carrot? This dog loves vegetables. I was cutting up a green pepper the other day. She came in sniffing around wanting some of it. Do you want a blueberry? Want one of my blueberries? She likes fruit too. She likes any food. Huh, girl? Hey, baby. Hey, baby. So for anyone who missed my video a few months back, we just got Sky a few months ago, and she's a 2-year-old lab. We rescued her. And she's such a sweet baby. But if you saw my meal prep video the other day, you might have seen she ate a whole loaf of bread. So one of the behaviors she came with is swiping food off the counter if you leave anything on the counter. And I had a whole loaf of bread that I was going to be making the French toast casserole. Had a whole loaf, and I had it pushed way in the back of my counter. I had my purse in front of it. I had grocery bags in front of it, and she moved my purse and managed to get the whole loaf of bread and ate the whole thing, didn't ya? Didn't ya? So it's definitely something I have to get used to, making sure I don't leave anything on the counters. We didn't go through that with our other dogs, but, well, the Chihuahua couldn't get up there and get anything, but our Hound, I don't think she was even big enough. This girl's big. She's actually lost a little bit of weight. When we got her, she was very, very overweight, but she's slowly losing, huh, girl? But not if you keep eating loaves of bread. Yes, you know you're beautiful, don't you? You know you're a beautiful girl, huh? So I almost forgot to film. I'm having a little snack. I'm having the rest of the cottage cheese from this morning and the rest of the blueberries. I already ate a few of them. So I still had some blueberries left, and I also had some carrots left. That breakfast was so filling. So I'm just snacking on these now. So it's 1 point for the cottage cheese, or 60 calories. And the carrots and blueberries, I already tracked those since they're what I had for my breakfast. Also, I forgot to mention this morning, with cottage cheese on Weight Watchers now, you can have the non-fat cottage cheese for 0 points. I'm just not a fan of non-fat, so I prefer to take the points for it. But that's an option if you want to add some non-fat cottage cheese. The great thing with cottage cheese is there's a lot of protein in it. So like this cottage cheese here has 19 grams of protein in just this cup. All right, for lunch today, I'm going to make a wrap. I'm going to use these protein wraps that I got from Aldi. These are 2 points for one or 120 calories. They have 12 grams of protein in them, and if you're watching your carbs, there's 7 grams of net carbs. Instead of mayonnaise, I like to just spread, this is like similar to Laughing Cow cheese. It's the Aldi brand, Happy Farms. So I like to spread these on the wrap instead of mayonnaise. These are 1 point or 30 calories. And then I'm going to use this Aldi Oven Classic Turkey Breast. This is 0 points on Weight Watchers. And if you're counting calories, it's 60 calories for 2 slices, which is 2 ounces. And then I'm also going to cut up this cucumber and put a little bit of light Italian dressing on it. For this, you can have 2 tablespoons for 1 point, and it's 30 calories. So that's my lunch. This comes out to 3 points and about 260 calories. And I knew it would happen sometime today. I forgot to film. So I had an afternoon snack. This is Premier Protein. This is the powder kind. And I mix this with, it depends, honestly. Sometimes I mix it with regular milk, and then sometimes I mix it with unsweetened almond milk. Today I mixed it with unsweetened almond milk. For this kind, for the 2 scoops is 2 points and 150 calories for the 2 scoops, and it's 30 grams of protein for those 2 scoops. So I had that, and I had unsweetened almond milk. With the unsweetened almond milk, I just have the Great Value kind, and for that kind, it's 1 point for 1 cup or 30 calories, but I usually bump it down to like between 3/4 of a cup and a cup, because anything less than 1 cup is 0 points. So I just have a little bit less than a cup, call it 0 points and about 25 calories. I honestly don't usually have this unless I'm low on my protein in a day, but some days I just feel like having it, and this afternoon I just got a craving for it, and so that's what I had. So I'm making dinner. This was actually one that I had put together in a dinner kit and we didn't end up using. So this is a Skinny Taste recipe. This is pork chops with mushrooms and shallots. This comes out to 5 points and 180 calories. So I'm going to serve it over rice. I'm going to just add this Ben's Ready rice. This is 3 points. It's 6 points for a cup, but I never have a cup of rice. So I usually do half a cup for my serving. So it's going to be 3 points and 100 calories. So my entire dinner is going to end up being 8 points and just 280 calories, which is really pretty low for a dinner. I'm making enough for 4. This recipe makes enough for 4, so I may end up going ahead and having another half a serving if I decide to. I'll see how I feel. So I'm going to have some broccoli with it, and I've just got some fresh broccoli here that I'm just going to put in this little strainer. So I'm going to get these washed, and then I think I'm going to cut up a little bit of fresh garlic in there, and then that's going in the Instant Pot on high pressure for 1 minute. Literally 1 minute, that's all it takes. Alright, so my broccoli, I'm not starting the Instant Pot yet. Also, I forgot to mention, in case you're new to Instant Pot, always make sure you put water in there too. So I put that little trivet down in my Instant Pot, and I put probably about 1.5 cups of water in there. But I'm not going to start it it's going to take probably 15 minutes to come up to pressure, so I'm going to wait until I get this stuff kind of prepped, and then once I start cooking this, then I'll turn it on. Okay, so what we need for this, I have here 4 pork chops. These are boneless. You can use bone-in if you prefer. And then I've seasoned both sides with salt and pepper. So I'm going to set that aside. And then I have a teaspoon of butter. I have a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. I have, actually this is 8 ounces of mushrooms. The recipe calls for 10 ounces of sliced baby bella mushrooms, but all I could find was these white mushrooms, so I'll just slice those up. And that's only 8 ounces, but that's okay. And then also a 1/4 cup of chopped shallot. I'm just going to cut the shallot up and use that. Chicken stock, we need a cup of chicken stock. So I had this in my freezer that I've actually had in the fridge since I meal prepped. and I'll be using that as just homemade chicken stock. So I'm just gonna cut up the shallot and the mushrooms, and we definitely don't need this. This is my avocado hugger from earlier that apparently has still been sitting there. And if you don't have shallot, you can definitely use just a regular onion. All right, let me get my mushrooms cleaned off. We didn't need that either. That's the everything bagel seasoning from earlier. I've been working this afternoon, so I haven't even done any cleaning whatsoever. Okay, so that's done. So my Instant Pot is on. I just turned it on, got the broccoli started. Like I said, high pressure for 1 minute. I've got my butter melted. I've got my pan over medium heat. And then once that heats up just a little bit, I'm gonna add the pork chops. I can see the butter starting to bubble, so I'm just gonna add these to the pan. And now I'm going to cook them for probably about 7 minutes each side. Her recipe says 7 to 8 minutes, but these are fairly thin, so I don't think they're going to take too long. Alright, I did give those one more flip. Now I'm going to get them out of the pan, and I've got just a thing of aluminum foil over here. I'm going to wrap them up just to keep them warm. And now I'm going to add the shallots to the pan. And I'm going to let those cook for just a couple minutes. And in the meantime, I'm going to quick release my Instant Pot. It just went off, so I'm going to quick release it. Alright, now we're going to add the chicken stock and deglaze the pan. Then stir in the mustard. And also it calls for a tablespoon of parsley to be stirred in. I don't have parsley, so I'm not going to be adding that. And actually, I do have some dried parsley, so I'll add a little bit of that. Then we're going to add the mushrooms. And season with a little bit of pepper. And then let that cook for about 3 minutes or until the mushrooms are cooked through. In the meantime, I'm going to get my rice going, and then I'll come back and show you when this is all plated. So keep in mind this is supposed to be for 4, so I'm thinking that would be good right over the rice too. Could probably just put the pork on top of the rice. I think that would have been good. And just kind of let that drain down in there. So that's dinner. So like I said, 5 points, 0 for the broccoli and 3 points for the rice. And then for calories, 280, but actually with the broccoli, probably a little bit over 300. It's probably about 20 calories for the broccoli, so probably safe to say around 300 for this whole plate. And now this is what we have for leftovers. So there wasn't a full serving of the rice left, which is actually good because if we have this for lunch, this will just be probably, I'd say with the rice, about a 6-point lunch. So I'm having a snack. This used to be my snack, my favorite snack. And let me show you. Ready Whip, PB2, and Snack Pack Pudding. These used to be 2 points and now they're 3 points, but that's okay. Alright, so you can have 2 tablespoons of this for 1 point, you can, which is 13 grams. You can actually have 16 grams. But I'm just going to do the 13 just to keep the calories. This is going to be a lot of peanut butter in this one. Alright, next we're going to put in the pudding. And honestly, this is going to be a lot of PB2, so you can just do a tablespoon if you want. It's not going to make a difference in the points, but it will in the calories. So 70 calories for one of these, and then we had 60 calories in the PB2. So that's 130. And then for the Ready Whip, this is the fat-free kind. 0 points for 2 tablespoons, and it's 5 calories. And let me see what the grams are. So it's 5 grams is 2 tablespoons. You can have 9 grams for 0 points. But I don't even think I have that in there. Oh, yes, I do. All right, there's 9 grams. Then we're just gonna mix that all up. Like I said, that was a lot of PB2. But I like the PB2 flavor, so if you prefer to not have it such a strong peanut butter flavor, then just cut down on the PB2. So I did end up using 9 grams, so that's about 10 calories. So this whole thing's gonna be about 140 calories and 4 points. So there you go. It doesn't look the prettiest, but it's so good. I'm telling you, that is decadent. So this is gonna be the last thing I eat. I've got my water in, and I'm gonna enjoy this and call it a day. Okay, so this actually worked out to be a really good day without planning it. So it does not, let me just share, it does not always come out this way. So I ended up hitting exactly 23 points for the day, and then I'm going to share with you my calories and macros in just a minute. So for breakfast, it was 5. Actually, that included my 2. So it was 3 for the breakfast plus 2 for my coffee. And then lunch was the 3, and my dinner was 8. I did have to switch this a little bit. I had to move the serving down from the pork chops to 7/8 of a serving for it to match my 5 points. I thought I had this one saved in my Weight Watchers app, but I didn't. So I had to go to Skinny Taste recipe and just clock it in there, just track it from her site. And when I tracked it, it came up as 6 points. I think it's because I do a little bit of modification and like I use the light butter. That might be why. But either way, even if it's 6 points, it's not going to make much of a difference. And then all my snacks were 7. So I ended up with 23 points for the day. I didn't use any weeklies. So let me show you how that works out to calories for this specific day. So as you can see, that 23 points was actually 1,427 calories. I have mine set at 1,500. Like I said, that's just kind of my baseline. I usually go anywhere from like 1,300 to 1,700. So with the 1,427 calories, now let's look at the macros. And if you scroll down here, my macros of protein, 38%, carbs 33%, and fat 29%. I consider this for me very good. I love it to be pretty much well-rounded like that, but with a little bit more emphasis on the protein. So I had 125 grams of carbs, I had 49 grams of fat, and 144 grams of protein. And look at my fiber, quite a bit of fiber this day, 30 grams. I usually shoot for 25 grams. And then my saturated fat was 13. So the 49 grams of fat, only 13 of that was saturated. So that's a good thing. That tells me that a lot of the fat was the healthier fats. So honestly, this was a really good day for not pre-tracking. Usually I pre-track to kind of see where I'm going to be. But this day I didn't really plan on anything. I just kind of went with the flow, and this is how it worked out. So but this doesn't always work out this way. Sometimes I may have 23 points and my calories are really low, or some days I have 23 and my calories are really high. It just depends. And then that's where the weeklies come in. So if I go over my 23, then I just dip into my weeklies because I do use my weeklies. And in fact, I have an upcoming chat video that I'm going to talk about how I use my weeklies. Louise, you asked how I use my weeklies, so I'm going to talk about that in my next chat video. But again, like I said, please don't use these as goals for you. Make sure you find what works for you, as we are all different. So make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I'll see you in my next one.